Community asset mapping is a great tool to use when you want to identify and visually document different strengths and resources a community has. Some examples of things you could document include physical, organizational, individual, cultural, or even historical assets. What we're going to do is identify something like a park. We're going to mark it and then organize it. Maybe this will be recreation. There are many different maps you can use to get started. For this exercise, I used GIS to identify the city limits of Richlands, North Carolina. For your exercise, you'll be using Harnett County's school districting zones. We're going to start in Google My Maps and you're going to create a new map. Just to show you, we're going to zoom in to North Carolina right here. And you can pretty clearly see already some of the areas you'll be working with. There's Dunn, Anger, Lillington. We're going to zoom back out and we're going to go back to Richlands, North Carolina, right here. Up at the top, you're going to see some quick tools we're going to use. For now, we're going to mark the location that I went around. So I'm starting at Trexler Middle School, going up the street, and you can keep dragging and clicking your mouse to identify the border range. So let's just go ahead and finish that up real quick before we go further. And there we go. I'm going to go ahead and label the zone that I made, and it's going to be my map route and save it. But gray is kind of hard for me to see, so I'm going to change the color to a lighter blue. There we go. Now we can go over to the side and we can add layers. So I'm going to make a layer for each category that we're going to do today. And the first one we're going to call food. All right, so look back at the top. We're going to go ahead and add a marker or a pen, and we're going to identify some of the food locations that we saw as we went around. So the first one is Bojangles, and before I exit out, I'm actually going to go ahead and make it yellow, and I'm going to add the little fork and knife icon. As I add more layers, these colors and images will help me identify my assets a little bit better. So the next one is going to be Camino Real, save, and again, same thing, yellow, and I'm going to use the fork and knife icon. And then the last one we're going to identify for now is going to be Triple C Sweets, a really good ice cream location. Now I can find this information out by visualizing it myself as I drive around, or even better, I can ask community members I come across, hey, where do you go to eat? The next layer I'm going to add is going to be public safety. So I'm going to type that in and save it. This could include things like your police stations, fire stations, and EMS. The first one I have is a police station. But it could also include things like your neighborhood watch groups or even the emergency call boxes, those big towers with the blue lights on them in the parking lot. I'm going to label this one red, and I don't see the icon I want, but there are more icons you can choose from. There's actually tons of them. So if you don't immediately see what you're looking for, type in some keywords into the filter. I put in police, and I have more than just a police station, so I'm going to choose this badge. In my travels, I found that there was a fire and EMS station right next to each other. I need to move it over just a little bit. You'll notice as you're labeling, you're not going to have to go back through all of the icons. If it was a recently used icon, it appears right here for you. Now I'm going to speed up this next little section. I did education and I found a middle school and this like pre-K daycare combination, but I'm going to slow it back down for the last category for the examples, which is faith. If I was to go on Google Maps right now, you would absolutely find in person and online the United Methodist Church right where we've placed this little marker right here. However, right outside of the blue boundary that we drew out earlier, there's a Living Word Full Gospel Ministries, and the business location on Google Maps is a house adjacent to, just down the road from, the actual church. But the church location is very different. It's almost half a block down from where Google Maps says it's located. So, whenever possible, it's really important that you do actually set eyes on the community. You ask people about the resources they're using, and you make sure that what's in real life matches what you're just marking on Google Maps. And now you see we've re-highlighted all those layers we added. And even when I zoom out, you can still see the icons pretty clearly. And there you have it, the community asset mapping using Google My Maps. You can find a link for the Harnett County School District maps in the assignment.